All right, let's jump straight into this because we are literally watching a massive shift happen in web traffic right now. We're moving way beyond those traditional search pages where you just click through a list of blue links, and we're entering this completely new era where AI engines are answering user questions directly. And here's the harsh truth. If these AI models can't instantly find and extract the answers from your website, you lose. You just become invisible. So today, we're going to go through an explainer of this really fascinating new framework. It breaks down an exact step-by-step implementation plan to make your site perfectly optimized for this new AI-driven web. So what does it actually mean if AI is getting stuck on your website? Well, the core problem highlighted in the source material is kind of fascinating. We spend all this time, right, crafting the perfect prose, but that great content is absolutely useless if AI bots hit structural or technical roadblocks on your page. Think about it like this. An AI crawler doesn't read a page like a human curled up by the fireplace. It parses. It scans. If your page is just full of these massive paragraphs, confusing HTML structures, or technical barriers, the AI will literally just get stuck, give up, and immediately move on to your competitor's site to find the answer. And that brings us to this absolutely crucial concept, extractability. This is it. This is your new ultimate competitive advantage. It's essentially the practice of designing both your content and your tech stack so that AI can just effortlessly scoop up the answers it needs. And you know what the best part of the research we're unpacking today is? It's how highly actionable this all is. The documentation outlines that you can lock this entire process down and actually start seeing results in just 14 days. Okay, so here is the complete playbook for today's explainer. First, content, formatting for AI. Second, tech, letting AI in. Third, the 14-day action plan. And fourth, pitfalls to avoid. Let's dive into part 1, content. Formatting for AI. The human side of extractability. Okay, 40 to 60. That is the magic secret formula right there. The rule is simple. The first 40 to 60 words of any core page, or really any major section of a page, absolutely must directly provide the answer or conclusion. You cannot bury the lead anymore, guys. AI models want the answer immediately. If they have to go digging through hundreds of words of fluffy introduction just to find your main point, your extractability score just plummets. You can really see the contrast in this comparison. The old way of writing starts with something like, when discussing this topic, we need to consider many factors. I mean, that is just terrible for AI. It's a rambling introduction. But the new formula, it cuts right to the chase. The best practice is A because B. The source recommends that you always follow this specific flow. Answer first, then explain, and finally provide your evidence. Just completely ditch the fluff. Next up is the number 80. You've got to strictly control your paragraphs. The source documentation is super clear on this. Keep your paragraphs to an absolute maximum of 80 words. Ideally, you want them sitting right in that 40 to 60 word sweet spot we just talked about. And here's another thing. Limit yourself to exactly one clear idea per paragraph. Huge walls of text just confuse the crawlers, whereas short, punchy blocks of text, those are easily digested and cited by AI. So to make your page highly extractable, you need what they call a machine-friendly structure. Instead of an H2 heading that just says extractability, you want to actually ask, what is extractability? You've got to maintain a strict H1 to H2 to H3 hierarchy, no skipping levels, and make sure to add FAQ blocks with real user questions at the bottom of your important pages. Also, the data heavily favors lists and tables when these engines are pulling direct answers. So, give the machine exactly what it's looking for. Moving right along to part 2. Tech letting AI in. This is the machine side of extractability. Okay, you absolutely must explicitly allow these specific AI crawlers in your site's robots.txt file. If you aren't lightlisting GPT-bot, Claude-bot, Google Extended, and Perplexity-bot, they literally cannot access those perfectly crafted answers you just wrote. It's like locking the front door when you're trying to host a party. Check your robots.txt file today and make sure you're rolling out the red carpet for these specific bots. And wow, this next point is a massive technical requirement that trips up so many modern websites. You need server-side rendering or static site generation. Listen, if your core text relies on client-side JavaScript and it isn't actually present in the raw HTML response, the AI might just skip it entirely. Why? Because these crawlers are incredibly fast and they just don't always wait around for your scripts to execute. Plus, the documentation really stresses implementing essential schema markup.
At a bare minimum, you need to ensure your article, FAQ page, organization, and person tags are validated and present. This ensures the AI instantly grasps the context of your whole page. And on top of that, you have to guarantee this core content, especially everything above the fold, loads incredibly fast.
All right, part 3, the 14-day action plan, the AI optimization sprint.
The text actually provides this literal step-by-step rollout plan, which is so helpful. Day 1 is an audit of your top traffic pages. Days 2 through 4 belong entirely to your content team for formatting overhauls, using that answer first, short paragraph, question heading formula we covered. Days 5 and 6 are for tech to lock down the server-side rendering and schema. Day 7 is launch and test. Literally go ask ChatGPT or Perplexity your target questions and see if they cite you. Then you spend week 2 iterating on the rest of your site. It is incredibly focused and honestly, totally achievable. Finally, part 4. Pitfalls to avoid. The reality check.
Going forward, every single page you publish needs to pass this quick 6-step checklist from the source. Have you front-loaded the answer and shortened your paragraphs? Are your headings question-based with supporting schema? And critically, is the core text visible in the source code and are the bots allowed in? If you can successfully check all these boxes, your page is perfectly staged for AI extraction. I'd highly recommend keeping this checklist pinned to your team's virtual workspace.
Now, a huge word of warning from the authors here. In your rush to hit these word limits, do not sacrifice accuracy for brevity. Front-loading an answer doesn't mean you should mindlessly simplify a really complex topic. And if you overuse lists and tables everywhere, you seriously risk sounding like a dry, sterile instruction manual. Remember, you are still writing for human beings, ultimately. You absolutely have to retain those necessary nuanced explanations and keep your brand's natural, engaging tone intact.
Which brings us to our final thought today. The source text makes one absolutely crucial foundational point at the very end. While this 14-day sprint guarantees your structure gets extracted quickly and efficiently, optimizing structure alone is a short-term play. If you only change the formatting and you ignore the actual depth of your content, you are eventually going to be outranked. True, long-term relevance still demands unmatched authority, highly credible data, and genuine content depth. So sure, you've optimized for extraction, but are you actively building the undeniable authority required to stay relevant in the AI era?